They hurt you. They never apologized. And you still wonder, without an apology, is forgiveness even possible? In this video, you'll uncover a truth that will change the way you see forgiveness forever. You once loved someone. You trusted them. You gave them the most fragile parts of yourself, your heart, your honesty, and even the scars from a past that hadn't fully healed. Then one day, they hurt you, not with a knife, but with words, with silence, with quiet betrayal that shattered you piece by piece. You waited for an apology, just one sentence, something to show they knew they were wrong. But nothing came. No message, no phone call, not even a glance that said they were sorry. Only silence, cold, indifferent, brutal, as if you had never existed. And you wonder, if they never apologized, should I still forgive? That's when the real battle begins. Not between you and them, but between you and yourself. Between the anger and the longing for freedom. Between the pain of being dismissed and the hope of letting go. Between the voice in your head whispering, they don't deserve forgiveness, and the tiny part of your heart that still craves peace. Forgiveness isn't telling the world everything's fine. Forgiveness is telling yourself, I don't want to carry this weight anymore. But how do you forgive when the other person never says they're sorry? We often grow up holding on to a simple but dangerous belief that if someone hurts us, they'll know, they'll understand, and they'll apologize. That fairness is natural. That empathy is a human instinct. But life teaches us a bitter truth. Not everyone has the capacity to recognize the wounds they've caused, and even fewer have the maturity to say, I'm sorry. Some people walk away, leaving you in a silent storm. They go on with their lives, smiling, laughing, posting carefree photos online, while you're still struggling to hold together the shattered pieces of your soul. You don't want to forgive, not because you're too angry, but because you still love them, and that love makes you feel small, vulnerable, foolish. In your mind, forgiveness feels like surrendering to injustice. And so you fall into a painful, exhausting loop. You can't go back. Your dignity has been torn too deeply. But you can't move forward either, because the anger clings to you like a second skin. Every time you remember their eyes, their voice, the way they disappeared without a word, you don't just feel pain. You feel betrayed by the truth you once believed would last forever. You begin to blame yourself. I trusted too much. I forgave too easily. I just needed someone to admit they were wrong. But the truth is, you didn't need them to say anything. You just needed them to know that you were hurting, that you waited, that you gave them a chance, and they chose silence. In those moments, forgiveness can feel more like endurance than release. Forgiving without an apology, for many, feels like erasing your own worth, as if you're saying, the pain you caused me isn't worth your acknowledgement. But take a breath. The real question isn't, do they deserve forgiveness? It's, do you deserve freedom from this pain? The heartbreaking truth is, you could wait your entire life, and the apology may never come. Not because they don't know they were wrong, but because owning their mistakes requires a level of maturity not everyone has. To apologize is to admit, I hurt someone, and for some people that's too much. They don't want to feel guilty. They fear being seen as a bad guy, so they choose silence. They wipe their hands clean, walk away, and keep living as if nothing ever happened. The longer you wait, the more it drains you. You're not just waiting for words. You're waiting for validation. My pain is real. I have the right to be hurt. And then one day, you realize something. You've been letting someone else decide when you're allowed to heal. It's unfair, but it's common. We often think forgiveness is a reward for the one who caused the pain. But in truth, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. Desmond Tutu, the South African archbishop who stood against the brutality of apartheid, once said, forgiveness says you are given another chance to make a new beginning. A new beginning, not for them, for you. Forgiveness is when you cut the emotional cord binding you to the one who hurt you. When you no longer wish to carry the weight of resentment, waiting, and pain every time you think of them. And here's the strange part. Forgiveness doesn't have to be spoken. You don't need to write a letter. You don't need to meet face to face. Forgiveness is an inner act, a quiet, powerful decision. I refuse to let this pain keep controlling my life. You don't forget what they did. Forgiveness doesn't erase the truth. It doesn't make wrong things right. It simply means you've chosen not to let it destroy you anymore. Forgiveness doesn't erase memories. It just helps you look back without being suffocated by the pain. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's the highest form of emotional strength, because you've been hurt enough to know what pain feels like, and now you're brave enough to let go. You don't need their apology to move on. You just need you, the version of you that chooses to set the burden down, not because you forgot, but because you finally realized you deserve peace. When you truly forgive someone, without an apology, without accountability, without closure, the first thing you feel isn't relief, it's emptiness. Because anger was once your armor, pain was once your connection. Even if it was to someone who left, you told yourself, as long as I'm angry, I'm still in control of the story. And then, when you let go, when you forgive, when you stop waiting, you suddenly feel lost. Like a prisoner set free after years in a cell. The door opens, you walk out, and you have no idea where to go. There's a strange sadness that follows the release of resentment, a silent funeral, because you're burying a part of yourself that became too familiar with pain. There's no one left to blame, no apology left to wait for, only you and the silence. That silence is terrifying. But from within that silence, you finally begin to hear yourself. For the first time in so long, you are no longer defined by how someone else treated you. You're not the abandoned one, not the broken one, not the one who deserves an apology. You are simply you, someone who survived, who hurt, who stood back up, and who forgave. And in that moment, you understand, forgiveness doesn't change the past, but opens a door to a future that's finally yours. You no longer need the old story to remind you of your worth. You don't need validation from the person who left to know that you are worthy of love. You've already proven it through the quiet courage of your forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't the end of the story. It's the key that lets you write the next chapter, one where you are no longer the victim, no longer waiting for someone else to save you. You are the one who heals, the one who chooses life, the one who loves and sets clear boundaries this time. And the beautiful thing is, after everything, you're still someone who knows how to love, how to trust, and how to forgive. But now, you don't love blindly. You don't trust without awareness. And you forgive, not to repair the past, but to free yourself from what can no longer be saved. You may never hear the apology you've been waiting for, but forgiveness doesn't need to be heard, only felt. It doesn't need anyone's approval, only your quiet knowing. I chose peace, and I deserve it. Forgiveness doesn't change what happened. It doesn't erase the sleepless nights, the times you cried in silence, or the questions you kept asking yourself over and over. Why me? But forgiveness, especially without an apology, teaches you something priceless. You don't need anyone else to begin healing. You are strong enough to pause, to look your pain in the eye and say, I will no longer let this define me. Not everyone can do that. Many people spend their whole lives waiting for an apology that never comes, letting anger slowly dim the light inside them. But you chose something different. You chose yourself. That's not weakness. That's courage. Because forgiveness isn't about giving the other person peace. It's about giving yourself freedom. And if today you're still torn between holding on or letting go, remember this. You can't control whether someone apologizes, but you can always choose how you move forward. Not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. If you made it this far, thank you. Truly, it means you've had the courage to walk with me through one of the hardest, quietest truths: forgiving without an apology. If something in this video made you feel seen, please share your thoughts in the comments below. You can tell an old story, or simply write, "I'm learning to let go." Every voice shared might become a light for someone else. Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you'd like to continue this healing journey together. Each week, we'll gently peel back the layers of old wounds and slowly return to ourselves, more whole, more free. You don't have to walk this path alone. Here, you always have a space to be heard.